But since I done the childhood bullies, I thought I would do one of my primary school fun memories. So just primary school memories. I have like a little dot point here this time. It is all over the place. So I might just go off script. I don't have like a proper script, but kind of just like a sit down video. So where to start first? Okay, I'll start with the computer room because I don't think my primary school has a computer room anymore, and I think when I was in year 6 and 7 they kind of got rid of it. I don't remember if it was the exact years, but I know they do not have it anymore, I'm pretty sure. But we had a computer room, and guess what? We had the old box computers. Yeah, the ones that are like big and bulky, and the speakers. Like, oh my god, the speakers. A lot of people remember those like speakers, little speakers that had like, I think the dial, and you could put up really high. And I think a lot of people got in trouble for doing that. I don't remember too much of that, but I do remember seeing them. But then fast forward a little bit, the computers then got to upgrade to more of like a modern day one. Actually, no, I think my primary school would still have the computer room. Yeah, they would still have the computer room. They just do not have the box computers anymore because they're more upgraded, modern one. They probably upgraded to Mac now, but it was just, I think it was just the normal PC one that was, yeah, desktop one, more upgraded and modern. So I remember that, and I remember we go to the game room together and play. This is all in primary school, by the way. We go to the game room and we'll play on the computers. I think we'll play Cool Maths, and it was another game that I really liked. I was horrible at it, but every point you get, you could customize your room and your character. And I really like doing that, but I do not remember what the game was called or really what we did. I think it was like a either math game or learning game, but I don't remember what it was called. But I do remember liking it because you could upgrade your character all the time. You sign in with your account or something like that. Started off with the old computers and then upgraded to the modern computers. I feel like I was growing up in the best time because I was still seeing all that old stuff slowly turn into the more modern stuff. I was in year 6 and 7, so yeah, I'm sorry, this will be everywhere. I don't have any scripts, so I might go one like when I'm really young and then when I'm in 6 and 7. So yeah, when I was in year 6 and 7, we had an environment committee and I joined that, and I really enjoyed it. We would go to different schools. I didn't really like speaking up in front of the other groups, but we did that, and we worked a lot with the plants, and it was just really fun. And I think my PE teacher was helping with that my old PE teacher was helping with that. Because the primary school didn't have a gym, we had like this hallway, this hall that was like assembly hall. It was carpet, and on one section was a little stage, and then there was a back room behind that stage everyone thought was haunted because apparently it was kind of creepy and no one really go in there, so it was really cold. So yeah, that was apparently haunted. And then on the other side there was a divider, and then there was a room behind that. So if you wanted the assembly hall to be a lot longer, you could just open the dividers. So that's where we would have our assemblies. And I remember being in an assembly and we were doing Christmas carols or something. And I remember making myself dog ears just out of paper. And I remember a kid in the audience saying, "Oh, doggy!" I do remember that. And there was probably other assemblies in there too. But fast forward a little bit, the school built a gym, so it was a lot bigger than the assembly hall, and that's where we would have assemblies because they would put like a stage. They had a stage in the corner, or like the middle corner, and so it'd be assembly but also our PE room, which was like the hall too. We done like dodgeball and things like that if we weren't outside. Most of our PE was outside, but when we got the gym, a lot of it also, depending on the weather, we would stay in the gym and play dodgeball in there and all that. But because we had the gym and we had the assembly hall, I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if it was too much money to keep power on in the assembly hall, or they just didn't really need it anymore. It was too small, outgrown, because the school got bigger. So they decided to demolish it, and it was so sad. Everyone was so sad. I know me and my sister were really sad. But when it was all demolished, the environment committee I was in, we helped plant plants where it was. So kind of like a memorial thing. We plant native plants on top of where the building was. I wonder what the garden would look like now. It'd probably be like really big. I wonder if they upgraded, maybe made like paths or something. I hope they didn't get rid of it, because it was really good, and it'd be cool to go back to my primary school just to see how different everything is. But yeah, so that was the assembly hall. I remember that. I remember the TV room. We had a TV room. It was kind of like an odd shape. It was like this room here, and then there was another room here, and then I think there was two other rooms connecting, but kind of like a little hall, little tiny room. But the main room was, let's say, this kind of diamond shape. And we had a TV, and guess what? We had box TV on wheels. And you know the like this photo. We had that, and I remember we would go in there with the class and we would watch some things on the VSH tapes. Yes, on the tape recorder. That's how old it was. And that's what I grew up with too. It was only a little bit of my childhood in the primary school, because like again, like everything else, it was getting upgraded as the years went by. So, but we would go into the TV room and we would watch TV or watch something on tape, so a movie or something, and we'd have popcorn and maybe lollies. That was also our Japanese classroom. We had a Japanese classroom, but that was, I think that stopped as soon as I went to year 6 and 7. So there was only a little bit. And then in the other room became the one connected to it became the music room, because I don't think we had a music room before, but it became the music room. But since things are upgrading, we didn't need the box TV anymore, so therefore we didn't need the the TV room. So the TV room, I think, became either connected to the music room. I think it did was connected to the music room. I remember sitting in the circle, and then we had like those instruments or something like that. But we didn't need that, because the whiteboards, like these kind of whiteboards we had in all of the classrooms, became electronic whiteboards. So we didn't really need this. I think the teachers might have had like this next to it, but most of it was upgraded to electronic whiteboards, so it was connected to the computer. And I remember one time the teacher writing on the electronic whiteboard with a marker and destroying it, because she wasn't meant to use a marker on it, because it was not a normal whiteboard, it was an electronic one. And that was funny. I don't think that was in my class though, but I did hear about that, and I'm pretty sure it was real. And I have a feeling a lot of teachers would have done that, especially growing up with the whiteboards and then all of a sudden switching to electronic whiteboards. So therefore, since we had electronic whiteboards, we would watch movies on that on DVD and all that. But yeah, that was so fun. I was really happy that I grew up with the box TV for a little bit in my childhood. Even at home, only a little bit, but we grew up with the box TV. I remember sitting on ground in the lounge room with the box TV on the floor, and we would watch The Simpsons. I remember that. I only remember a little bit of it, but I do remember that. I remember in year 6 and 7, we had like I think called yard duty we had to do at the end of the school, when school was finished, or just before school was finishing. We would I don't remember too much, but we'd have to collect bins, and we'd have to take like the padding off the football post, you know, the one that goes around the football post, so if a kid runs into it, they don't hurt as much if it was to go into the middle, like actually run into the bare metal pole. So we'd take that out, take that off, and then put it in somewhere. I think we put it in like the library that we had. In the library we had like a storage room where we had all that equipment, like skipping ropes and all that. So we would take that. I actually sometimes like doing that. I only remember collecting the bins and taking off the football posts, and that's all. There's probably something else, but I remember those two. Speaking of library, since I'm on the topic of library, so we had that room, which was like storage room, and then we had the library room, and the library was also kind of in a weird shape. The computer room, I'm pretty sure, was connected to the library too, and I remember a lot of times we'd go to the library and we'd have to like get a book and read, and we'll sit down, kind of have like quiet time, and then after the quiet time, and at the end of the near the end of the session, the teacher would be like, so tell me about the book. And most of us weren't even reading the book, we're just pretending to read the book. I remember my friend looking on the blurb and just making stuff up. Me and my sister, when we weren't in the same class, but me and my sister really liked this mouse books. I think it's called Geronimo Stilton. It's kind of like furry, was it the word anim? I don't know the word, I don't know the word, but like furry mouse books, and as in like humanoid mouse. And we really liked it. I actually did not really read it, but I really liked looking at the characters, especially this blonde mouse I really like staring at. But yeah, I like the pictures. Most of the books that I read there, again, I couldn't really read. I was not the best at reading. So most of the books I just looked at the photos. Actually, I remember getting special help because I was kind of, I had like, learning disabilities. So I remember getting pulled away a couple times throughout, I don't know, the week or so, and working with this girl who would help me, just extra help really. And I really appreciate that. I really liked her. But yeah, extra help and all that. So I would do that. Skipping rope. A lot of times me and my friends would use skipping ropes to play horses. I don't think I was really much of a horse girl, but we would pretend to be horses. We would put the skipping rope around our waist, and someone would pretend to do that, and we would run around. That was fun. I really liked that. And I do remember one time when me and my bestie put our hair down to jump with the skipping rope, and we looked like lions. We're like, oh my god, you look like a lion. I remember that. There was times where we have like movie night as well. So I think it was in pretty much most of my classes in primary school. We had like most of my year levels in primary school, we'd have like a movie night. So maybe like a Friday night we'll come in later, not too late because we're still in primary school, and we'll just have a movie night and like have popcorn and all that. And I remember one time it was stormy and rainy, and I feel like that was the perfect time to watch a movie and eat popcorn. I do remember this other time, I think it was year 6 or 7. I most remember year 6 and 7, I apologize. In year 6 and 7, one of them, I remember watching Red Dog, and I tried not to pay too much attention to the sad part because I knew Red Dog was sad, and I knew the other girls were crying. And straight after that, we had to go to a PE lesson, and yeah, I feel like that was not good. I just feel like that wasn't the best watching that kind of movie because that was really sad. But speaking about PE, I really liked my PE teacher. He was really nice. I think he retired near year 6 and 7, but he was really good. I think actually before year 6 and 7, before I went into year 6 and 7, I think he might have retired, and then we had another PE teacher. I think that's how it was, but I really liked my older PE teacher. He was an older guy, so he's probably retired now, but he was like really nice and I liked him. I don't remember the newer PE guy though, even though he was the newer one. He was a younger guy, but I don't really remember him too much. But I liked him, he was good, and he helped out the environment committee too, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I want to apologize, my camera battery went flat because it was flashing, but I think I was talking about my old PE teacher. He was really nice and sweet. I really liked him. I don't remember too much, but I know he was an older guy. I think we did get a new I keep saying team leader, a new PE teacher, but I remember the older guy a lot more because he was there a lot more. I think he would definitely be retired now. And then speaking with PE, we had sports day, like I think every school has sports day. I was in Team Blue, and I remember being good at hurdles and especially long jump. I think I actually got a ribbon for long jump and something else. And actually, a funny thing about that is I remember my mum putting like zinc, like it's a it's a coloured sunscreen, like a thick sunscreen, and she put it on white top, and I remember she put stripes on my top, and I remember going in, I think it was year 4 at that time, I was sitting down in the classroom, and I remember the teacher doing that, like, you know how teachers sometimes put their hand on your shoulder, and I remember her putting her hand on my shoulder and quickly went like that because her hand was blue. I don't think I got in trouble for that, but which I'm surprised. Maybe my mum got a phone call after that day saying, hey, because it wasn't my doing, it was mum, or maybe I told mum to do that, I don't remember, but I do remember that. Oh, I remember recess and lunch, I think mainly lunch, is that we had this breezeway near the canteen and near another classroom, and we had little, what's it called, benches on one of the sides. I don't know if they were on both sides or one of the sides. I think they might have been on both sides, and we would play that green light, red light game, but mainly we would play What's the Time, Mrs. Wolf, or Mr. Wolf, depending on who is there, which is very common primary school game. It's where one person is the wolf, and I guess the other people are the sheep, and you would say, what's the time, Mrs. Wolf? And then the wolf would say, like 5 o'clock, and then you take 5 steps, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the wolf will say, and then you'll say, what's the time, Mrs. Wolf, again, and then the wolf will say it again, but then the wolf will decide when it's dinner time, and then when the wolf decides it's dinner time, she turns around and then will tag one of the people, and then whoever I think is tagged is either out or becomes the next wolf. I forgot how the rules work, but it was something like that. I really like playing that game. And with that, is that a lot of students would like join in, even people that we wouldn't even know. Yes, even my bullies would sometimes join in, and because it was just fun. It's where you don't really think of much anything else besides that game. Oh, we had a thing with the beep test, which I think is in high school as well. But I don't remember too much of the beep test, but I don't think I enjoyed the beep test. I remember the one where you had to jump really high and touch the thing, and because it was in primary school, it was very high that a lot of the students couldn't even touch it. I couldn't touch it. Even in high school, I think I couldn't really reach it. Oh, school disco. We had primary school disco in the new gym, and that was fun. It was basically, I think, someone being a DJ and then playing music and then dancing and all that. I actually remember my exact outfit to that. It was like a black dress that had like kind of a lace over top, and it had holographic rainbow polka dots. I remember that dress. And then in a little bit we could purchase, like on one section they put like a little canteen part, or like make-believe canteen part where you could purchase like juice and that. So I mean, it was only primary school stuff, so it'd only be juice or maybe like an oat bar or something like that. But that was fun. I remember the other time where we had this, I think people come and every class got to do like a dance thing, and we had to dance with each other. I did not like that because you got teamed up. Yeah, because we had to team up, and a lot of my friends were like already teamed up with other people, and so that means therefore I had to be teamed up with some, like a guy. We were allowed to team up with guy or boy, but I had to be teamed up, I mean girl or guy, but I got teamed up with a boy that I didn't really like, and I was like, ugh. And I hate touching skin on skin contact if I don't know the person very well. So I was doing this, and the teacher was angry at me, so the teacher pulled down my sleeves, so I had to hold him with my, have to hold hands with him, and we had to do that, slow dancing thing. I hated that. I actually hated that. No, I don't like touching skin with people I don't really know, so that's like, this. If it was someone I know, like a friend, I would be alright, but even that, I don't think I really was a person that liked touching skin. Yeah, I wasn't not. Yeah. I was a person that did not like that, because I remember we sitting in a circle with my friends and we were doing some kind of game like that, and you had to put your hand over someone else's hand, and I didn't like that, doing that. Again, I did not like my skin touching someone else's. So I guess I'm a little bit of a germ freak. I think I'm a bit fine now, but even now I probably wouldn't want to be holding hands with a stranger, because I don't know where those hands have been. Oh, speaking of the gym, we had toilets in the gym, and I remember getting, not locked. I remember the lock not locking, so I had to quickly go to the toilet to make sure that no one would open it on me. And I heard the bullies, that the people I don't really like, with the people that don't really like me, were there, and I quickly made sure I quickly flushed the toilet and quickly pulled up my pants and then swing open. Luckily, it was a couple seconds earlier, she would have saw me like half naked. But yeah, that was embarrassing. And then she was like, "It's not like, I mean, it's not broken." Because I was saying it's broken because I couldn't lock it, but then she was able to lock it. So I don't know, maybe I was doing something wrong or something. Oh, I remember one time, probably our lunch, is that, I don't know, I think maybe I was in year 6 or 5, and I remember I think it was year 5, because I remember these older girls, I think in year 7, for some reason, I don't know how it started, but some reason they wanted me in their dance performance. I think they were doing a dance performance or something. Maybe I talked to them once and they liked me, but I was playing dodgeball with my friends, and these 2 girls came to me and say, "Hey, do you want to practice the dance?" And I remember one of the girls kicking away the ball, and yeah, and I did not know how to talk to people, so I kind of just left the ball and then walked with them, but then it was only a little bit, and then they said I could go back, so I went back, and I think the ball was in exactly the same spot that it was in. If not, then I probably got in trouble for that, or I don't remember that. But I do remember, yeah, the girls pulling me away from the dodgeball I was playing with my friends to practice this dance. I do not remember how the dance goes or went. And I don't even know if we did practice the dance, or they just pulled me to the side to the back of the oval just to chat. Because that's all I remember. I do remember they were older and they wanted me to be in their dance. Oh, and speaking of classrooms, I remember that I think each classroom was a long, like, kind of hall, but every classroom had kind of a divider. So technically it was one big room, but they made it into 2 rooms. Because I know in year 6 and 7, oh no, was it? I think, no, maybe, well, that was a bit different actually. Because we actually went to, because it was kind of special, I think it was either special ed or after school, that was that building, but then later on that building became the year 6 and 7 class, and then I think special education moved to different class, or after school care or something, or whatever it was, moved to a different area, I think. Year 6 and 7 we kind of had our own little house, kind of, because it was like a room here, no divider, because it was actually like, I think, a wall or a little hallway, I think. And then I think it had its own little sink and all that. Yeah, it did, because I remember doing like art projects or science projects, and sometimes we'd go there in that little section to wash our hands or something like that. And we also had our own toilet. I think it was only one toilet, but we had our own toilet, so we didn't have to go to the public, I guess the school's toilet, which was good. I really liked that, having our own toilet so we didn't have to walk out. Can remember primary school. Obviously there's a lot of memories about primary school, but a lot I have forgotten about, or I just try not to remember too much about primary school, because I don't think I had the best time with like bullying. Not that I remember a lot of it, but yeah, I do remember another time we were playing out in, like, I think recess and lunch with my friends, and I don't know what they're called, I think they're like pine cone things that come from the tree, and I was pretending that they were dragon eggs, and I remember drawing a picture that day of, I think we had like quiet time, or we were allowed to draw in our art books, and I was drawing the scene of like us there with dragon eggs, which was just pine cones. Also, another thing, a fun thing, I think it was year 6 or 7, I think it might have been year 7, is that we had like a school camp, overnight camp. I originally did not want to go there because, again, being a really anxious girl, I was scared of the unknown. And I did not want to, I begged and begged and begged my mum that I did not want to go to this camp, but she forced me. And I'm so glad she forced me, because I actually had a really good time. It was such a cool, I don't remember exactly where we went, but we went on a bus, just our group, I think year 6 and, it was year 6 and 7 together, or just year 7, like grade. When I say year, I mean grade. Together, and we went on a bus, and then I think we went to like kind of like a bush area, and kind of like, I don't know, I guess in the middle of nowhere, and it was like this huge shed. I don't remember too much of it, but it was like, I think this huge shed, and I know we camped. I had bunk beds. The boys shared one room, and the girls shared one. The boys had their own room and the girls had their own room, and they were like just bunk beds everywhere, so we shared. And I remember the teacher yelling at us because she was like, the boys are all quiet, because we were going to bed. It was nighttime and we had to go to bed, and I remember the teacher yelling at the girls' side, coming into the girls' room and saying, like yelling at us like, the boys know how to be quiet, they're all asleep now, you need to be quiet too, because the girls were like gossiping or something like that. I wasn't, I was just because again I was really anxious girl, I did not know how to talk to people. But yeah, most of the girls were like gossiping about stuff and the teacher got angry at it because we were talking and the boys were all quiet. So I do remember that. And I remember we had like I think, I don't know if it was connected to the area, but we had this like gymnastic place that had a foam pit. I do remember this. I do remember jumping in the foam pit and getting told off because the guy jumped before me who was still in the foam pit, but he was all the way on the corner. So I thought it was okay, because I wasn't gonna, because I was here, the trampoline we were on, because there's a trampoline that you jump onto the foam pit. So the trampoline here, the foam pit underneath here, and it was a pretty big foam pit, and it was all the way here. So I thought it would be okay for me to jump in the middle, because obviously I'm not going to jump like over there, but I got in trouble. The teacher got so mad at me and like, hey, you have to wait. So the next time my turn was there, I didn't jump or anything, I just wait for the teacher, and the teacher said you can go. Again, I would have taught back if I had the confidence now, but yeah, I understand where the teacher was coming from. It was safety, but he was already kind of off the edge, and I was here, jumping here. I wouldn't have jumped on him on purpose, but again, it's for safety reasons, I understand. But I was mad at that teacher for that. Then that kind of spoiled my day. For the camp, I think we cooked something like burgers or something for dinner, and then the next morning we had like breakfast, which was, I think was just cereal, and then we had groups where one group would clean the dishes or something and the next group would do it the next day or something. We were only there for one day, so one day and night. So, but anyway, I think the funnest of that camp was going on a speedboat. That was kind of terrifying actually, because it was going very fast and it was going like that. It was one of those metal speedboats, and I felt like we were gonna go over the edge, and it was like boom, 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 boom. So every time I go boom, boom, I felt like I was gonna like fall off. No one fell off, which is good, but that was like terrifying. But that took us to like a cave section. So I don't remember what the cave looked like, but I know it was pretty dark. So I think we walked a long way into the cave all together. We were in a group. And I remember we all had flashlights, because I think we had to bring our own flashlight. We all had a flashlight, and I think the host was saying about how quiet it is, and if you turn off the flashlights it's completely dark. So that's what we all did. We all turned off the flashlight, but as soon as we all turned on this flashlight and as soon as it was dark, someone farted and everyone cracked up laughing and turned their flashlights back on. I still don't know who it was. It was one of the guys I know. I think it might have been someone next to me. I'm not exactly sure who it was, but it definitely was one of the guys, because it just sounded like it, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was funny. I don't remember I think there was some other activities we did too. I think we did karaoke and other things I forgot, but I definitely remember the speedboat, the cave, and the foam pit. I do remember that. And it was just cool. It was kind of like a countryside thing, bush, so I don't think there was much around, but it was cool camping, and I'm really glad my mum pushed me to go for that, because I really enjoyed it. And it was only one night. I don't know how I would have gone if it was like 2 nights. Thank you, Mum, for pushing me to do that, because I actually had a really good time. There was actually a camp in high school as well we could have gone to, but that was like, I think 5 days, so like a whole school week. And I don't know how I would have gone with that, because again, I was still a very anxious kid, and that was in year 8. I think, yeah, year 8, the first year of high school, where I didn't really know anyone. But I should have went, because it probably would have been like really cool, but again, I probably would have felt really isolated too. But again, if I had that opportunity now, I would take it, no matter if I knew people or not. It really was really fun, and I'll definitely do it again. I totally forgot what the place is called, and I would love to remember. Maybe I'll ask my mum, but I don't know if she'll even remember either. Because it's been a while, and yeah, but if they allow adults, I would love to go again with like my friends, if it's like an Airbnb, if it even exists anymore. I'm sure I could, if they hired it out. I would love to hire it out with my friends and just really relive the whole thing again. It would be so cool. Now, I think that might be all of my childhood primary school memories that I remember. I know it's not a lot, and I know it's probably most of them are overlapping or connect to one another, because I am getting older and I am, remembering other things, more important things, I guess. But it's really nice to live back on those memories. Again, I'm kind of glad I don't remember too much, because I think a lot of my primary school was bullying, or at least what I thought was bullying. If you haven't seen my last video I uploaded about childhood bullies, go watch that, because that talks more about that if you more want the juiciness stuff. This is just about the more fun stuff. overall, I think I had a pretty good childhood because I did not have a mobile phone in primary school. That was only when I got to high school. And when I got to high school, I only had like the button phone because I didn't want one of those smartphones. But then I realized everyone else had those smartphones, so then I got a smartphone. Thank you, Mum. So, but in primary school I did not have a phone, and I think that was awesome. Most kids in primary school when I was there, I don't think had a phone. Some did, but obviously they weren't allowed to, you know, be on it. They were just put in their bag. But I'm so glad that I grew up in a time where phone isn't always like that, like we're behind it. I don't know these days if people in primary school all have phones these days, or they all have the iPads. They're probably, I think in primary school we did have iPads too, but I think you had to be a really good, yeah, we did have iPads, but you had to be a really good student for iPad time, and that wasn't like all the time. It was only like a little bit, and then the teacher would have to pack them away and I think put them back in the office or something like that. So it wasn't all the time, it was just a special occasion. But now with computers and iPads being really big now, and internet, I don't know how the primary school kids are living now. I don't know if they all have iPads or their parents have got them phones, or if they don't even use the electronic whiteboards anymore, they might all have computers. We had computers in high school too, but we also had like the projectors. But yeah, I'm wondering what primary school kids have now. But I honestly think I lived in the best time, because I feel like the internet was a thing, but it wasn't too overpowering it as it is now. I feel, because I grew up with the box TV and the VSH tapes and the floppy disks and the old computers. Sure, it was only a little bit in my childhood, but it was definitely there, and I definitely remember those memories. So I feel like I grew up in the best time where I had that, but I was also transitioning into the more modern world that we are today. So I feel like that was pretty cool, growing up with the technology. Growing up with the technology just seemed really cool. That's why I'd hate to grow up now with all the technology already being here. I liked how the technology grows slowly with us, and everything just got upgraded as we got older. But yeah, anyway, I think that's all what I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize if this video is all over the place. I did not really have a script, and I tried to remember as much as I could. In the future I might be like, oh yeah, I remember that, but this is for now what I remember. But anyway, I'm going to end up this video. I'm Jasmine, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!